Hey everyone, and welcome to the session today. My name is Matt Wilkinson. I'm the founder and CEO of BizInc, and I'm here with Anthea Major, who is the head of growth at BizInc. Hi, Anthea.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Very good. Well, thanks for all of you for coming along in what I know will have been a really busy week for you. It certainly has been for us. It'd be really cool to know where you're dialing in from. If you want to fire that into the chat and let us know where you're dialing in from. So just before I get started on this session, how to create a COVID-19 communication strategy for clients and prospects. Bit of a mouthful, but yeah, just before we get into that, bit of housekeeping. So we're doing a joint session here. So if there are any issues, just fire them into the chat or the Q&A, and we will do our best to answer those for you. I know Zoom has been having a few issues because obviously a lot more people working from home and all of that. So I know that Zoom has been kind of having a few issues. So it may be that it's a more of a platform issue, but if you've got any individual issues, we will do our best to sort those out. So hi to you all coming in. I can see you've got Chuck in North Carolina, Rosalind in Melbourne.
Someone in Brisbane, yes.
Cool. We let anyone into these webinars.
Yeah.
Anthea's in Brisbane as well. So I'm in the South Island of New Zealand, near Wanaka. But we've got people from all over the world, which is awesome. Hey, Mark in Scotland, midnight for you. Wow, thanks for staying up. Very cool. Brenda in Edmonton in Alberta. Very cool. Okay. Well, I know you're busy, so we're going to keep this a really fast-paced, hopefully not too long session, and keep it really practical as well. So let's get into it. So what are we going to be covering today? Well, first thing is is it okay to be doing marketing right now? I've sort of had that conversation with a few people. It's like, it doesn't feel right. Well, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about what messages you should be sending. What are the best channels to be communicating through right now? How to be heard above the noise, because there's obviously a lot of noise going on. I'm going to finish off with some examples of firms who are really doing it well that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And we've seen so many examples actually over the last 2 weeks, but we've picked 3 that we're going to show you. And then we'll finish with a Q&A as well. Final thing I was going to say was we're going to give you some free content as well. So if all this seems too hard, then we're going to give you some free content as well to do it for you. So watch out for that link a little bit later.
I'll just add that, yeah, we are going to allow time for Q&A, of course, but we'd love this to be a sort of interactive session. Send in your questions as they come to you. Let us know anything that, sort of pops into your head about this as it comes. So use the Q&A or the chat, and I'll ask them as we go if it suits.
Yeah, I prefer that. If we can do the questions as we go along things, that'll be really good. Normally, we do the Q&A at the end, but keep them coming in right the way through, and we'll be keeping an eye on the chat or the Q&A, and we'll get to your questions as we go. So before I just get into it, look, don't expect a really polished session today. I'm sure, like I say, you've all had a crazy week. We have too, but we've put a lot of effort into this session, but what I want to do is do this from, it's changing daily, right? Things are changing daily, and I'm soon going to be telling you that getting things perfect and polished right now doesn't matter. Right now, it's just about helping people. People are not interested in perfection. They just need your help. And likewise, I really want to help you, and I want to help you help small business owners. So, we work with several hundred firms from across the world, accounting and bookkeeping firms, and the advice I'm going to give you is really just from the trenches. What we're seeing is working, what's not working, really practical advice that, if I delivered this webinar last Friday, it would have been different. Me and Anthony were talking about that before. Things are changing so fast. So we'll do this session today, and if we need to do another one next week, the week after, we're happy to do that. We just want to help you guys get the message out, keep your clients happy, and hopefully attract some new ones. So let's get into it. Now, I'm interested to know who's done more communications with their clients in the last 2 weeks than they've ever done before. Just type yes or no to the chat, because I know we have just been unbelievably busy communicating with clients through every different method, and I can see you all firing in yes. So
yes.
I know that we know that, you know. So James says that seems like all you're doing right now. Mark's discovered how to use MailChimp, right? So that's interesting because like I think everyone's a marketer now. I've been doing this for 10 years, helping accountants and bookkeepers with marketing. And it's quite hard, guys, sometimes trying to get you guys marketing, but everybody is a marketer now, because you've got to be right. You know, now you're going nuts with it because you've got to get out to clients and start talking to them. So I didn't call this, I called this session communication strategy because I think the word marketing or sales, they have maybe connotations of that don't seem suitable right now. But actually, I would argue the exact opposite. You know, marketing now is more important than ever. We've got to be marketing because we've got to be out there getting the message out to business owners, how you can help them, and all of those things. And what's funny is these fundamentals of marketing that, you know, well, you as well, Anthony, we're always trying to drum in is like talk about pain points, you know, be regular in your communications, send useful content. Just doing it, you know, everyone's just doing it. It's pretty obvious what the pain points are, and everyone's just fallen into that. So I'd say you're doing an awesome job, and you know, when this is all over, hopefully it's not going to be too long, then keep that stuff up. You know what you were saying to me before the session, hey Anthony, that like normally with some of our marketing clients that we do the marketing for, you're chasing them and then they've all been chasing you, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's actually quite a good thing. You know, we always like to see the positive side of it as well. It's, you know, typically we see people sort of scared of marketing or like, I don't know how to do it and what do I do? It's a time thing as well. And now it's like, this is what I have to do. I know what my strategy is, I guess. I've just got to talk to my clients because my phone's ringing off the hook. Oh, that's right. I've got, you know, email marketing system already set up and, you know, somebody helping me to do it. So it's been a really, really good change actually. But yeah, it's sort of been good to see, exactly as Matt just said, you know what the pain points are and you've just got to get in touch with them. And that's pretty much all marketing is, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So a really cool question coming from Phil. We'll come to that one actually. I think that's a really interesting question. We'll come to that in a bit. So I'm just going to get the webinar underway and we'll come back to some of these questions as we get through. But you know, look, I think there's a pressing need to get in touch with clients. We get that. And you know, even if you've got like a decent sized firm, you know, even if you've got even just like 50 clients, you know, you can't probably call all of them in a week. So how do you reach out to them? It's marketing, right? You've got to use marketing to do that. So the answer to my question that I posed at the start, is it okay to be doing marketing right now? Yeah, absolutely. You have to be doing marketing right now if you want to be helping people. You know, like I said at the start, I think what you're doing now, when times change, it's the same stuff, not as in much in crisis mode, but that's what marketing is. So I think it's really important to be doing marketing right now.
Definitely. Yeah.
So in terms of strategy, I think the strategy is really simple. This is the strategy that we have got at BizInc, and I'm sure, you know, this is what most firms are thinking about, is that number one is reduce churn. That's the first thing you've got to do. Get through this and lose as few customers as you possibly can. And so, you know, how do you keep your clients, or you know, you've got to show them what I would say like value is beyond the numbers. You know, you've got to do stuff that's, you know, beyond what you would normally do. And I'm absolutely sure all of you are doing that. I know from conversations with clients, Anthony, you've probably talked to more directly than me. You know, firms are really going above and beyond right now. But I think you can't do all of that on an individual level unless you've only got a handful of clients. Mm-hmm. So, you know, how can you sort of demonstrate that value beyond like a one-to-one conversation? And to me, that's things like an email newsletter. It's things like your social media, sharing useful content. It's things like webinars, all of which we'll discuss later, those tactics. So that has got to be the number one priority, right? Is get out of this with as few clients lost as possible. Even better would be to obviously add some clients, and that's possible. I think there's still business happening. I mean, we've heard some firms have actually been winning a bit of business. Obviously, some firms have lost business. It's hard to say how this will go. But what you do know is that whatever you're doing with clients, and if you're showing them value, that's also valuable to other business owners. So, when this ends, people are still going to need accountants and bookkeepers, right? They're still going to need that. So if you're doing things like webinars, newsletters, building a social following, that's leads for when this is over. So, I'm talking point 3, like selling when the time is right. It might not be the right time now, but there will be, the right time will come. So, demonstrating value, obviously to clients, but also to prospects, to leads, so that you've got that pipeline for when things take an upturn. They're going to look to you, because people will remember who was there for them and who wasn't.
Yeah.
During this time.
I was just going to say as well that, focusing on your clients as well, but as you've just said, making sure, other business owners know you're here to help as well. And, business owners still talking to each other, maybe more than ever, and, having information, hey, I got this from my accountant, that they can pass on, that's super valuable stuff for them as well. It's just about being genuine and helpful here.
Totally. There's like a big white goods chain here in New Zealand. It's an Australian one, and found out that they just decided to stop paying rent within 24 hours across all of their 39 stores to the landlords. I think they're trying to claim like some rent rebates as well off the New Zealand government. So it's like, I wouldn't be buying off them again. And people remember that stuff, right? Yeah. So the good guys and the bad guys stand out. So I think that's important. And then, selling when the time is right, there's clearly a need to be cautious around selling, but business doesn't need to stop. In fact, business has to go on. It's not bad to be selling and doing business, because, we're some of the businesses that are lucky enough that we can exist over Zoom and things like that. I've got friends who've got physical businesses that are shut. They're done. If this goes on much longer, that's it. Their companies are gone, and that's pretty horrendous. But if you can sell, well, we've got to keep the economy going. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But so I think we still need to be open for business, and when that time is right, it's going to differ for different firms. But as sad as it is, some firms will go under. And let's say there was a 10% loss of clients across all accounting firms. That isn't going to be spread equally, right? Like some firms will lose 100%, some firms will gain. So, it's not nice things to think about, but there's always opportunity in all of this. I think that's only the time is right. That's the hard part, to know when that is. But those first 2 things, to reduce the churn and build a leads pipeline, are super important. So, and I think it's about having a plan as well. So, I mean, has anyone ever watched those kind of like survival shows where it's like there's like a plane crash in the Amazon, and one person gets out, and it's always the person in those shows who, 2 things they always have, right? Number 1 is they have a plan, and number 2 is they stay positive. They're the 2 things that always come out of those shows, and everyone's in survival mode now. Every business is in survival mode. So people are still going to need accountants and bookkeepers at the end of this. So having the plan, remaining positive, it doesn't guarantee success, but I think the reverse, that kind of guarantees failure. So I think it's about a simple strategy. Everyone's brain is going crazy right now, so simplifying everything down becomes so important, and that's what we've been doing at BizInc, hey, Antje?
Yeah, it's I think for a lot of businesses, it's sort of been forced a little bit, but it's definitely been good for us at BizInc. It's exactly that. It's simplifying it. It's exactly what the strategy is. For us, we've just got to help our clients get stuff out to their clients that's going to help them and help them understand what this, stimulus package is that's just been announced that, they're getting called 50 times a day about. It's just, exactly as I've just said, it's about helping people, and it just makes it so much easier now that we have a very, very clear direction. When you just take everything away, what's the one thing we got to do? How can we help?
Totally. It kind of reminds me of, like, I'm into sports, and when you ever hear sports people talking about great managers in team sports, one of the things they always say is that, like, they just told me exactly what I had to do. People just want something real clear to do, and I think that's important in the marketing strategy. Just go, these are the things we're doing, not anything else, and get into it. So before we get into some of those tactics, I just wanted to sort of make a quick note here about, like, perfectionism, which I've often seen with accountants and bookkeepers in marketing. So these are some things that accountants, the business owners, do not care about right now. Your why. So, is this Simon Sinek, start with why? Don't get me started on that stuff. But, no one cares about that. They didn't care about it before, but they definitely don't care about it now. They don't care about your brand. They don't care if you rank #1 in Google. They don't care how many likes you got on Facebook. They just need your help. So there's a lot of fluff around marketing, right? But now we've had to go right back down to the fundamentals, and that's what's really important. So we can stop worrying about some of those things. Now, I'm not saying things like brand isn't important, but right now your brand is how you act. And I'll come back to that, but it's not, it's not your logo. It's not some marketing language on your website. It's how you're acting right now. So in terms of the practical side of it, start with messaging and content. And as I mentioned, we're going to give you some free marketing content later to really help you with this. But just want to run through the kind of strategy that we think we're seeing work best right now. So #1, are you adding value, or are you adding to the noise? So, for example, do we need another webinar on how to work remotely? I must have seen like 50 of them today. So I'm sorry if you're running one of those, but I think, like, there's too much of that content. Whereas, like, what are you guys highly specialized in? Look, we could do remote working content. We've been a remote company for over 5 years, pretty experienced in running remote teams across different continents. But, that's not what we do. We're focusing on 100% of our stuff on helping accountants and bookkeepers with marketing. So, what are the things you're specialized in? Obviously numbers, obviously finance. That's the things that I think is going to help you win more business in the end. In terms of regularity, so I'm interested to know how often you're doing marketing. So should we launch that poll, Anthony?
Yep, just going now.
So how often have you been contacting your clients in the last fortnight? Feels a lot longer than a fortnight, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness. I have no concept of time at the moment.
Yeah.
No idea. So we've got several times a day, daily, weekly, or I've still not contacted all of them. And seeing some comments in there about, phone calls being sort of part of the strategy, I guess. And what would have normally been short calls, they've become quite long calls. So as you said, even if you've only got a handful of clients, it can take a little while to get through it at this sort of time. They've got a lot to talk about, I'm sure.
Well, like, you've just had a call with one of our clients, haven't you, Anthony? You were saying, and half the call was talking about she's worried about a daughter who's in medical practice, and it's not just about the core services that we offer each other.
Yeah, and I think you guys know you're sort of on the front line more than we are, but you always hear about bookkeepers aren't just bookkeepers, where marriage consultants and all the other things you have to deal with regularly. Imagine at a time like this, I can imagine it's a lot more. So people have lives and things going on outside of this as well. So
you can see those results up there. daily and weekly are most popular answers. I mean, one of our clients in the US was like, things are changing hourly here. You know, and I think the situation is obviously you've got more states and things like that to deal with. But, you know, I think doing something daily is important right now, even if it's just posting something on social media. There's so much happening. I mean, you obviously don't want to be adding to the noise, like I said at the start, but I think you've got to be trying to at least get something in front of your clients pretty often. We're going to show you some good examples of that later. So, sorry, you go on.
I've just got a question that I've seen that I think might be good to answer now, but we can come back to it. There's a lot of information being pushed out at the moment. Is there a risk of overwhelming people with too much with their marketing?
Well, it's difficult to say, right? I think people are overwhelmed anyway. And what I'm going to talk about shortly is keeping things really simple. So I think what it's about is trying to do something that's highly focused. So, you know, if your clients are, say you got a bunch of clients in the hospitality industry, which obviously hurting right now, and you can give them really specific information about that industry, then I don't think that overwhelms them. But, you know, if we're all sort of pumping out generic content about how to run a online meeting, then I think that I'm not overwhelmed, but it's probably it starts to get ignored. So yeah, I think you've got to be really sensitive to how things are changing as well. Like we were talking earlier about how like a lot of firms are putting out cash flow planning advice. Now there is a place for that, right? But like if you've got no cash, there's no flow. So there's no point doing any plan. You know, it's a whole different situation for some businesses. And it almost can be then start seeming like rude to be talking about that. So, you know, what were we saying earlier? It's like, you know, it's like trying to tell people about stormproofing your house while a hurricane is going on.
Yeah. Look, some of this advice, like it's solid advice, right? And it would have been good months, probably would have been good, 3 weeks ago or whatever, you know. But the situation's changed now. Things are different as you know. So it's too far down the line for some of this stuff. They, you know, the business is shutting. There is no cash flow to work with at all, you know, in some cases. So exactly, it can be sort of got to be careful how you can be perceived. And I also think it's about quality content, which is what you're getting back to. It's about focus and what's being really useful here, rather than just blasting out because, you know, you have the ability to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I think is also marketing's a two-way street, right? If you know, it's not just about us pumping messages out, it's interactive. So we're going to show you like our Facebook group a bit later. And this is where I think social media has really come into its own for a lot of firms. It's really started to work for them where it maybe hasn't in the past. Is that the point I'm trying to get to is instead of just trying to like pump content out, ask clients what they want to know about, ask them what their challenges are and give them that, you know.
Yeah. One of our clients here on the webinar today, Glenn, saying what I've been doing is listening. Yeah. And that's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that then guides what you're going to do. So yeah, and Mark saying, you know, clients need to know what they're entitled to, how they claim it, and when they will get it. Many need cash in the next month. That's honestly, like, that's what we're finding is like the most popular content we've been creating for clients is about those government stimulus packages, whether it's, you know, wage subsidies, you know, loan guarantee schemes, different for every country, but that's really, businesses are in survival mode right now. So that stuff is
that's what the questions are about. I heard this on the news. Am I entitled to 25 grand like I heard, or whatever it is? Yeah,
exactly.
That'd be nice.
So marketing rhythm. So we'd normally do our marketing planning as like 90 days is our sort of like main planning tool at a weekly level. You know, we obviously say things go on certain days, but we're sort of really at that kind of level. Right now, we're down in the weeds at this level, and this is what I'd recommend you do as well, is just a weekly plan and keep rotating. So we've just put like an example one up here, but establishing that rhythm I think is really good, because I think everyone will probably agree things feel pretty chaotic right now. So I feel like the more routine I can put into my life, whether that's in business or trying to do some weight training in my gym or something like that. Yeah, gym. I haven't got a gym, a garage. Talking myself up a bit there, but the more routine I can put in, it's sort of like stuff I don't worry about because I can see it on a piece of paper or screen or whatever. So I think having like a simple marketing plan, even if it's just to do one email a week or whatever, is something like this. So day one, Monday, call 10 clients. So insert your number or whatever, but we're obviously, you're all doing that anyway, but I think it's good to have that noted down. An email blast inviting clients to a Zoom webinar. Prospects as well, why not? Why not invite other businesses along? So I've put a Zoom webinar here about like how to claim a wage subsidy, and this is one of the examples I'll show a bit later. Wednesday, we're talking about gathering content for a weekly digest, upload the webinar to YouTube and get that out on social. The weekly digest, blog and email newsletter. So I think that would be a tactic I'd definitely recommend. There's something we've been doing as well, is like stuff that's like summaries, highlights, snippet type content works really well. So maybe just like having that email. We've got one client doing it daily, which I'll show you in a minute, but summing up all those things that have happened that week, because so much is happening every week, every day. Then you can post that to your Facebook, and then and with some heavy drinking on Friday.
I went through the slides before and didn't see that.
So something like that, nice simple thing, and just keep rolling things on like that. So talking about short and simple content as well, like attention spans are challenged right now. So it's important, I think, to get to the point. There's always a place for longer content, but I think, like I said, summaries, digests, highlights, those kind of types of marketing are working really well right now. I'm seeing that stuff resonate really strongly. Some of you will have heard of Vern Harnish, Scaling Up, or Entrepreneurs Organization. He's sending a really good daily email. It's like a 2-sentence email. There's always just something useful in them. Some stuff like that's really good. People just want, can this help me? Cool, click, go. That's what people want. Tone. I think tone's an interesting one at the moment. So I guess I've kind of flipped those around. So the last point, authentic and honest, is important, but possibly as anti my authentic and honest might offend people a bit. So you got to be careful. I did a CPA Academy webinar in the States, and I was talking to them, and we were sort of talking about whether humor is appropriate, and they said like it's like a 50-50 split. They've been finding like 50% of people are just reacting with humor, and then 50% of people are like, that is not appropriate to joke about. So I think you have to be really careful with humor in marketing, full stop, because what you think's funny is not always what other people find funny. But so I think the tone I would sort of suggest is like, serious tone is obviously serious times, but but be positive as well. Doom and gloom I don't think that helps anyone. And authentic and honest, I think like this just goes back to the don't be polished right now. Your brand isn't like the logo or some catchphrase like a marketing agency's written for you. It's how you act. So I mean, you were going to mention something on this.
Yeah. I was because I just got off a call with one of our clients in New York, and we're helping her with marketing, and even before coronavirus and whatever, email blasts and all the rest, and she's going, I need to get information out to my clients. It's really handy that I got these email marketing tools and that sort of thing. But she's saying, I'm sending it out. My clients know that, if anything else, they know that I care about them. And like I wrote that down, told her I was going to bring it to this webinar, because for this point, it's about being authentic. It's about being genuine and caring. When you're doing these sorts of messages, so your clients know who was there for them, who was the one who sent them, information that helped them get through, or picked up the phone and actually spoke to them, that helped them get through, what could have been the hardest time in their business, for sure.
Absolutely. So in terms of channels, where we're doing the marketing, the overall thing here I'd say is, you've got this thing like, are you getting in front of people? Or are you waiting for them to come to you? So I'll often talk about this outside of pandemics, which is like, it's really important to not wait for people to come to you, because you'll be waiting a long time. Especially, in accounting businesses, people aren't just sitting there Googling you. So I think it's really important in terms of like marketing just now is like direct tactics, like email. We'll talk about, they're going to beat things like SEO hands down. So like email, my old favorite. If anyone has come to one of my marketing sessions before, I'll always be talking about email. It just proves its worth right now. So I'm going to guess, like, for most of you or all of you, like, what was it that you turned to when you needed to get in touch with every client, like the start of, a couple of weeks ago? And I reckon it was email, right? Because every business owner has an email address, or I would hope all of you clients have an email address. Most of them check it several times a day, and people open emails from accountants. So we send tens of thousands of emails for firms every month through our email marketing platform. So we know what the open rates are. Every month it'll be about 35 to 40% open rate, which is really high. Now that's nothing to do with, well, I'm not going to say it's nothing to do with our platform. I'm not trying to make that point. I'm saying people open emails from accountants. Best performing category in MailChimp, which is probably the most popular email marketing tool in the world, is about 27%. So it's a lot higher. So I can see some of you saying you're calling as well, but for me, like, if you can call all your clients, that is awesome. But like, some of our clients have got, like, if you got several hundred clients, you cannot physically call them all. I mean, they might have managers and things like that, but I think there's, email is really important in all of this. Even just, it's because you can send something and it can be saved and stored, and I'll show you a firm who's doing that really well. Next one is, so I've written social, not media. So social media, right? Like, people use social media just to pump out content, so more like a media channel. But I think it's most powerful, especially now, as a social channel. So connecting and networking and talking, person to person stuff. So I'd be interested to know, does anybody have a Facebook group for clients, or maybe some other form of social client? I think we've got a poll here, right?
Yep. Launched now.
Flick that up. Has anyone got a Facebook group for clients? Because this is something that we've had for, I don't know, a couple of years, and it has been super valuable for us, right, Anthea?
Yeah, it's been amazing, and there's been a bunch of our clients in there. It's been really good, but obviously the last couple of weeks we've really seen an uptake in that, which is awesome, because it's such an easy way to keep in touch. You can just put the message that you need to know. As obviously on screen was our announcement about the COVID-19 resources, and just a quick little screenshot of what that would look for them, and obviously that interaction piece as well. So it's really good. I'd recommend that if you have a group of clients that use social media.
Yeah, that's been really good for us. And so I think, social is a really good way to get messages out. I'm not necessarily saying here just like sharing loads of content, I'm about connecting with people on social. And so a group like that could be super valuable. And in terms of taking this out to like prospects as well, that's something you could think about, maybe creating a group around a certain topic, something local, certain industry. We've got a couple of groups. Do you mind pasting those in the chat, Anthea?
Sure.
put those links in. So we've got a group which is marketing for accountants and bookkeepers, which is called Ascend, and we've got one really specific one for Zero partners as well. And they've been really good as well for connecting with people. So beyond our client base. Next bit we're going to talk about. Oh, sorry, yeah, we've got well, we're going to talk about Shane's part next.
Oh, sorry, I'm pasting the links in at the moment.
Hey, that's okay. No, that's all good.
Yeah. So I saw one of our clients, Shane, and she specializes in like creative industries. She's a performer herself, so it's fabulous what she does. And she's sort of seen the same thing. She has a dedicated Facebook group for those people, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it's not just clients. I think it's more just sort of for creatives, which is awesome too, because building a leads pipeline and just communicating with people that you can genuinely help is good. And so she realized that obviously a whole lot of our clients have had gigs cancelled and all the things that they've just had to shut up shop recently. So a lot of them have a bit more free time, working from home, or just no gigs to do that week or whatever it is. So she decided to she put out a little feeler sort of Facebook post just to see if people were interested, and that's what I saw as well. Just to see if people would be interested in like a business basics sort of course. Here's the things you never have time to do. You really should get to. So she's doing a webinar. We've helped set that up with the landing page and that sort of thing. So that Facebook group has been really good for that. She's obviously promoted it in there, and a whole bunch of people coming along. I think the webinars today.
Very good. Well, face to face. So it's not really face to face, or virtual face to face. That's always going to work, isn't it? With professional services, is getting in front of getting FaceTime with your clients and prospects. So we're seeing lots of firms trying webinars for the first time. Has anyone tried a webinar out over the last couple of weeks for the first time? Webinars work. I'd say it's been our predominant marketing tactic as we've built BizInc, has been doing webinars like this. And so I think it's something that, it's beyond this crisis. I think it's something that's worth having a look at. We do them for clients, we do them for prospects. It's a real low cost way to get in front of a lot of people. Plus you can do the recording and then you can use that on your social, send it out by email. So it has a lot of bang for its buck in terms of a marketing tactic.
For sure, yeah. Afterwards you can use that in multiple ways, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark's been using it. He's learned Zoom webinar. Good.
Yeah. Well, Zoom must be rubbing their hands together, right?
Oh yeah.
They're doing pretty good. So final one, I've just put phone. Like obviously a lot of you have been using the phone, and I've had a few Zoom calls have been a bit poor, so I thought I'll just call somebody instead. And the reason why I've put that is not because I know to use the phone and all of that, but it's like often get asked like what's the latest thing in marketing, what's the newest thing, and really the medium doesn't matter that much, right? Like the phone is one of the oldest things you can do, but it's about if you're getting in front of people with the right message. Doesn't matter if it's on the phone, doesn't matter if it's via Zoom, Instagram, like it doesn't matter. It's about connection. So I'll put that one on there as well. But all of these tactics are pretty direct. And I think that's what people are responding to now, because there's such a pressing kind of problem. This is where you're going to talk about Shane. So sorry.
That's right. This is Shane's landing page for the webinar.
Yeah. All right, cool. So how to be heard. There's clients obviously want to know, and a few of you already said, they've already said that basically the main things we want to know about now is those basics of government help. And I think, trying to sort of stick to the stuff you're best at is really important to get heard above the noise. So we've sort of referenced this stuff already. It had a few questions on it. So I'd say, like, doing a session on like remote working. I keep picking on that, but like I've just seen so much stuff on remote working by people who probably only just started remote working themselves. I'd leave that stuff to, like, Zoom, do webinars on that stuff, or Slack, or, there's these kind of apps that, like, they're built for that. They'll do a high quality webinar, get that and share that with your clients. They're going to value that just as much as if you did it. So one of the things I'll be doing, we've been doing it ourselves, is building up a list of trusted sources to share content from. Obviously we're not, we need to follow things like different acts in different countries, stimulus packages. So we've got trusted sources, stick to them, and then get those out. One of those could be the Tough Times Toolkit. We're going to share that with you shortly, which is some free content that you can use for your marketing. But I think, so share the stuff that you don't do. People maybe do need to know about remote working, but you don't need to create that content. Stick to the stuff you're best at, so we do marketing for accountants and bookkeepers. That's what we do. You guys, it's numbers, it's finance focused, it's, that side of business. So I think that's really important to keep it focused on that. I think other ways to get heard above the noise as well is one of them by being like, what I say is like hyper local. So I think macroeconomic stuff, is really hard for some business owners to understand. Like percentages of this and that, like, that don't necessarily refer directly to them, don't mean that much. But when they see things happening on the high street or, very close to them, that has a lot more resonance. So I think in your messages, if you can, one way to get cut through is by being super local, because obviously not everyone's going to do that. So I think that can really work. The other one was maybe to be industry focused, and we've seen firms doing specialist content. So entertainment, as you saw earlier, in creatives, I've seen some really good content around e-commerce, tourism, hospitality. So is anyone doing that kind of niche or industry content? Is anyone pushing stuff like that out now? Just yes or no into the chat. Be interested, because I think that really helps get that cut through. So with that, a couple of examples. So this is, actually, before I get into this, one thing I'd say is when I'm doing webinars, which I do quite a lot, I often struggle to find some really good examples of what firms are doing in terms of marketing. It's so easy to find good examples right now. So that's, a big kind of plus point for you guys, like some really good marketing going out there.
That's so true. I hadn't really thought of that, but that's, yeah, you're exactly right. Sometimes it's like digging around to find certain things, but yeah, there's just been, I often like to, like our clients on Facebook or whatever. So it's been good to see, my feeds full of, our clients getting this stuff out and helping people. There's a ton of examples like this. Yeah.
Yeah, it was easy, it was almost like, how do I strip it down to 3 examples? This is an example because I just thought this is like a real cool, simple thing that I reckon anyone could do. So this is one of Bizink's New Zealand clients. What I like about this, so you can see he's sending out a daily email. Where it's not daily, I think it's gone over the weekend, or it's pretty much daily. He's sending out these updates really regularly, and there's nothing fancy about them, right? Like, I like the title because it's just a simple title, and I like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because you can go back and reference them. So people might be able to store these and reference them rather than, just being the same every time. Quite like how he starts a bit of local flavor. He's talking about the sun coming out and,
bit of positivity
blah,
there.
blah, blah, bit of positivity. Yeah. And he always has a bit of local flavor in them, which I like. But then straight into that useful information about wage subsidies. And like, this email is not going to win any awards for design or, copywriting. That, no offense to Stu who wrote it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not, it's nothing flash about it, but who cares, right? This is super useful, regular information that his clients and his prospects need. So I think that's a really good example of something that, you know, you don't have to be super fancy. Example two, Jason Andrew, who I think is one of the best marketing accountants out there, very active on LinkedIn. A couple of posts he did. So he created a PAYG so basically pay-as-you-go withholding tax thing in Australia, benefits spreadsheet, right? And this was so popular, so many people in Australia were accessing this spreadsheet that it crashed Google Sheets. So what I like about that, right? There's no need to create a fancy tool. Google Sheets, free. And I really like that stuff because it's real, you know, it's like something it's real. You can update it, you can get it out there quickly. You're delivering value instead of trying to create this like polished, like brand type thing. So that's awesome. And you can see the other post he's made there, you know, again, it's not going to win any design awards. Is it some clip art and a, you know, font out of paint or something like that? But, you know, look at the amount of comments and likes. And it's just, you know, the post is just about federal government stimulus package, which is what everyone wants to know about. So, you know, these are things that just work. He's getting it out there. He's getting stuff out there more than daily. That's what matters more than doing something polished. So final example, we've talked about Zoom and webinars and that kind of thing. This is one of Bizink's clients in the UK, Telford's, and you can see Mark was running a webinar with HR department, so an HR company about job retention scheme. So Telford's, the firm, works with lots of contractors, self-employed people, so teaming up with a HR firm is like a super smart idea. And what I thought here is like, who could you partner with to do something similar like this? Is there someone local, or is there like an app vendor you could work with to do a webinar? We often do joint webinars with different apps. You know, we're planning one with, like a big app in the Zero ecosystem for a couple of weeks, because we can both help each other. We can both help each other's client bases, right? You know, so who could you be looking to partner with? Because there's strength in numbers right now to get out and help more people. And this is a screenshot from Telford's website. So these are some COVID-19 resources that we created for them, and we've actually added these to over 200 of our clients' websites this week alone, which has been,
that's why we've been busy.
it's been a big job. So awesome work by Bruce and Camilla and their teams, and everyone's been helping out. So I want to say thanks to my teams who've been doing that, because it's been a big job. But who's got something similar on their site? Who's done some COVID-19 resources? Because if you don't, we've got something coming up for you, which is, we've got a couple of things. So the first one is the Tough Times Marketing Toolkit. So do you mind dropping that link into the chat, please, Anthea?
Yep.
This is some of the feedback we've been getting from clients about the content we've been putting out, and we've never had better feedback, have we, than this stuff?
It's been awesome to see this. Yeah, we've been working hard, but this is the sort of way you do it, isn't it? Like it's really nice to hear. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm sure you guys are getting this kind of stuff from your clients, so you know. But yeah, we want to help you with this marketing kind of part of getting the message out to small business owners. So Tough Times Toolkit, you sign up for it. It's like a $0 product and never charge for it, but you sign up for it, and there's a bunch of content in there. So articles on different topics that I think your clients will find valuable. We've got templates, cash flow, break even, stuff like that. We've got, and it's all country specific as well. So, as long as you're based in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US or UK, we've got content for you there. Sorry if you're not, you still sign up and there'll be some valuable generic business content in there, but we've got country specific content for all of those places. Now that's DIY content, so you have to take that and put that on your website or wherever you want, and put it on your social, do whatever you want with it. We've also done a crazy scramble this week to release a new product called Business Continuity Hub. So this is if you don't have time to do that stuff and you just want us to do it for you, because that's what we were getting asked. Can you just do it for us? And you can see an example of it here. It's basically a branded microsite that's full of content, regional again to your country. And it's got other things on there as well. So we want to help you get the message out there. We've got a weekly email digest that we send for you. You can edit it if you want, but it can go automatically. So that will go out with all that information that's like government information is in there. We've got email templates for communicating with clients, social posts. We've got a bunch of business content on there. It's ready in 24 hours from when you sign up, and we've kept it really low cost. So, you know, this isn't about us trying to make a bunch of money. It's about just trying to get something out there. It's only 49 bucks a month, 25 pounds if you live in the UK. And we've launched it yesterday and had the most new clients in a day that we've ever had. It's been a really big response. I'm hoping we only have this product going in the next 2 or 3 months. I hope, you know,
Yeah, we
this
hope
is
you
all
have to
over real
cancel.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't normally say that, but definitely get signed up to that if you want us to just do it for you. So we'll put a sign up link in the chat, or we'll send one out in the email afterwards.
So I'll just recap for some of our clients that are on You Don't Need This if you've got a website with us.
Yes.
You get all this and more in a website. This hub is for those that want, you know, our content in a certain place and a place to direct people to as well. So just to recap that.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. Clients, you're already getting this stuff, or ask us. Don't buy this, please. We already have one client sign up for it. So yeah, that's probably our fault for not communicating it. But yeah, so any existing business clients, we just put this on your website. This is if you know, you just want to get something launched and start getting the message out if you don't have a website with us. So summing up, and thanks to everyone for making the time to come along today. I know you're super busy. What I'd say is now is definitely a good time to be marketing. It's really important to be marketing right now, because it's the firms who stand out now to clients and prospects. They're going to be the firms who survive all of this. The strategy that I think you're looking at, obviously, number one, reduce churn. Number two, build leads, and then try and sell when the time is right. Keep focused on pain points. I always say this about marketing all the time, that the pain point is obvious right now, and you can solve that, right? You can really help business owners right now, but don't try and do everything. Focus on the bit you're good at. So, you know, you don't have to help them with every aspect of their business. It's that bit that you can really help them with. I think marketing has to be really regular right now. So, you know, a quarterly newsletter is not going to cut the mustard right now. It's got to be at least weekly, and I'd be looking at trying to do something daily, even that's just through your social media. Really got to be out there communicating. Short and simple. So I don't think it's the time for long form content, which is good. You know, don't have to be thinking, I'm going to have to draft up 1,000-word blog post. Just get information out there and just keep it authentic. You know, your brand right now is how you act. It's not some fancy logo or, you know, marketing speak. It's how you act. In terms of tactics, you know, go direct. You just got to get in front of people that they're not going to come looking for you. You know, they're too busy. So go to them. You know, email, social, online meetings, phone, all those things are going to work. And to be heard above the noise, you know, it's not about, like I say, trying to help people about all aspects of everything, you know. It's about trying to win your small part of the business landscape. You know, Biz Inc., we just do marketing for accountants and bookkeepers, but, you know, that's all we talk about. But that is definitely keeping us busy. So, you know, what's your small kind of part, and you know, win that part. And finally, if you need any help with this, you've got the Tough Times Toolkit, which is completely free. Or if you just want it done for you, Business Continuity Hub, 49 bucks a month. We'll just do the thing for you. Be ready in 24 hours. So that's it. But I'm happy to stick around for questions, and so's Ant here as well. Please fire them in. We'll send you a recording as well, so don't worry, Jen, you didn't make it. Well, yeah, we'll send you the recording as well, and we'll send that to you all with some of the links and things that we've talked about today.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we do have a few questions as well that I'll just work through a few sort of to get through as well. So
Yeah.
one from Stephen, our client, I thought it's quite a good question because it's something we sort of have talked about before as well. So he's asking, would you use email marketing from the BizInc website platform, or would you use a more personalized email, say from Outlook, which might be which may be seen as being more personal?
Yeah. I think there's a place for both. So weekly digest type email, like a newsletter, basically. That's what I do through either like a platform like BizInc, which, the great thing about BizInc is we'll do the content for you, or it could be like a MailChimp or a Campaign Monitor. So that's what I call like a bulk emailing tool. I think there's definitely a place for that kind of outbound one-on-one email through like either Outlook or Gmail or something like that. If you're going to do that, what can be really helpful as a time saver is to get some templates set up. So I don't really know how Outlook works anymore. I haven't used it in a long time, but I think you can set up templates in there. We use HubSpot for our CRM, so you can do templates, and then you've got a bunch of them. Anti, we have templates where if we're sending the same information on a regular basis, you're going to be asking clients, what do you need help with, that kind of thing. There may be a template, but I do think, it's good to send through your Outlook that way, because sometimes like the nicely designed, polished email seems more impersonal.
Yeah, I think you're right. And sometimes you can still use just to confuse you more, can still use the bulk sort of platform, but make it look just like a standard sort of email. So there's those options as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I heard another question from Phil who says, I struggle with how much I charge a small business that is suffering a drop in their revenue. How much do I treat it as goodwill? So far, I have allowed an investment of 30-minute free conversations to discuss the implications.
That's a real tough question. And that almost goes beyond marketing, doesn't it? Into the core of kind of like what you are as a firm and everything. It's a really difficult one that I'm not really going to give like a solid answer to, because there isn't a solid answer. I think, you have to, there's rules, and then you break the rules, don't you, sometimes? So I think it's like, you look at, you look at maybe if you can keep that business going, they're going to be a client for life, aren't they? If you can, maybe, give them a bit of free time now, and then, I think that goodwill comes back. But I understand you're in business too. It's hard, So I think still got to be selling. You still got to have the if everyone stops, if everyone does everything for free, there is no economy, right?
Yeah.
So we've still got to sell stuff. But it's really tough. I don't know. I couldn't put a number in terms of minutes of calls and things like that. I just think that's a real tricky issue, and yeah, sorry.
There's no
answer.
magic answer from us, is there? But I've seen all different things being done in the last couple of weeks. I think it's fair enough. You've got a business to run, right? But you've also got to be mindful of clients, and yeah, that's probably about it.
Yeah, everyone's got staff, or most people got staff they've got to pay as well. So it kind of just pushes the issue around. So if someone cannot pay, then I don't know, it becomes about, then you're just helping them out of your own goodness, aren't you then? But it maybe is prolonging the agony, isn't it, if you think someone just cannot carry on. So I don't know, it's such a tough one, but these are the kind of conversations I guess we're all now having right now.
Yeah. We've got a few questions about the Business Continuity Hub. So
Yes.
One from Mark is the Business Continuity Hub a microsite? And would you link this to our main website and brand it up?
Yeah, it's like a microsite. So I can't think of one of the links that we delivered of one yesterday. Could you know one? Yeah.
Or can I? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm flicking in the chat maybe. So basically it's like a microsite, very simple website. It's intended not to look like a normal website, so it doesn't confuse with your normal site. It's just focused on COVID-19 stuff. And yeah, you could just link it through to your normal site.
Right, cool. I've just sent one there. A few other questions too. So one of our clients just on the blogs package at the moment wants to know, is the Business Continuity Hub included there, or yeah, sort of the link with that?
It's not, but I'm sure it's something we can do. So we'll talk after the call. We'll reach out.
Cool. And another question, so Business Continuity Hub has a blog section that we provide.
Yes.
Can we post that blog content directly to their main website that's not with BizInc?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. The content's not, we're not like, precious over it in that way. Do whatever you want. We just want you to help business owners. That's what we really want. Like I'm a small business owner. I love small business, my dad's had to fold his business. He's been in small business for, I don't know, what, 40 odd years or something.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a tragedy what's happened. He's got out of it pretty smooth, but that's the end of his career. It's just ended him in like a couple of weeks. So I feel in the pain that your clients are feeling. We really want to help out. So it's super important to me.
Definitely. I'll just reiterate just a message from Jen as well. So the Business Continuity Hub is not for BizInc website clients. So Jen in particular, you don't have to worry about it. We do all this and more in a website. So just ask first of all before you go through and buy as well, if it's sort of suitable for you. And Carla's just asking, can you add your own content into the Business Continuity Hub? So yes, you definitely can. We encourage you to do that. We've got some set sort of categories about government help and things that we add into, and we need them so we can update that for you. But you can add your own stuff, and we've got clients doing that, and different fact sheets and checklists and all different things. So definitely add your own, use it however you will, put it out wherever you will, let clients know about it. That's the point of it. And Kathy, one of our existing website clients, is asking the same thing. How can I get this on my website? So don't worry about it for you. I believe we've got the COVID-19 resources on your website already, but I will just double check for you in particular, Kathy. I think that's most of the questions, but if you have any more, fire them in right away.
Cool. Well, that brings us just over the hour, so I think that's a good time to wrap up. So thanks, Anthea, and thanks to everyone for coming along during a really busy time. I hope that was useful to you. We will, I think things are going to change, so we'll keep putting these webinars out. We've got some other topics that I think we could run one on. We might do one on running webinars, because I think that's something that people will be interested in. But yeah, stay safe, everybody, and we'll keep sending this stuff out. And yeah, have a good rest of the day.
And just send us a message to hello@bizinconline.com if you have any questions, particularly around the Business Continuity Hub. We can send you some examples and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Anthea. Thanks, everyone. Take care.